In the Netherlands is Danny Al-Baaj, a former Syrian diplomat, a senior advisor at the Syrian Forum. Danny, thank you so much indeed for your time. How important is it that there's this independent unit being set up, which will be led? Karla Quintana, by the way, has plenty of experience of investigating the disappeared in Mexico.
Thank you for hosting me. I mean, it is very good news that IIMP finally has a chief to lead its work. And the hope is now the Syrian interim government or the caretakers now would allow these investigation committees and institutions to start working in Syria. It is unfortunate that the news till now have seen or have shown and reflected a kind of messing with crime scenes. And I have to pretty much concentrate on this point. Prisons in Syria, detention centers in Syria, mass graves in Syria are crime scenes and has only to be held with professionals who knows how to collect evidence, how to document everything. And from there on, we can start hopefully our national transitional justice process.
I'm happy for you to expand on that, Danny. What do you mean that the crime scenes are being tampered with? Is it because there's a lack of professional experience, or is it outside parties who are trying to cover things up?
I'm not sure to say that there's clear-cut third parties. Definitely there are some parties who would have interest in tampering with these scenes. However, till now, what we have seen is mostly families who are really eager to find the whereabouts and the fate of their beloved ones who has been missing for more than 14 years and even before the revolution started. But the thing is, regardless of any intention about it, and whether there are parties, which, again, I believe there would be some parties who would be interested in, this thing has to be organized. The Syrian civil defense, the white helmets, do have the qualification and they are ready to deal with it. However, the scale of these scenes needs definitely more experienced personnel, experienced teams, and the capacity to actually cover all over Syria, because I believe this atrocities has been from the most southern part to the most north part in Syria.
How important and how difficult is it to find a reconciliation after 54 years? Because society was deliberately divided by Hafiz and Bashar al-Assad so that they could remain in power.
Yes, it is. It is a hard and long process to start, but we have to start at a certain point. We know that national transitional justice as a process has to be set, Syrian-led, Syrian-owned, and pushed forward on its different levels. There would be the judicial track, there would be the social track, there would be the reparations, the compensations for the victims, and finally the reconciliation. It's multi-tracked, it's multi-layered type of process, which is very difficult, very technical, has to come in an agreement. The Syrians have to sit together and agree what kind of reconciliation we want and how, what kind of punishment we want, how we can best make out of like the future of Syria. Should it be definitely based on transitional justice as one of the cornerstones, but also how to shape this process has to be dealt with, negotiated, talked, agreed on, and then we can start. And there would be, for sure, good support for such process with the international community help, either through good practices that comes from countries who has faced that before, who had went through such unfortunate experiences. Germany would be one of the main countries that one can seek the help when it comes to how to deal with the history. But very important that the first and foremost, we have to find the truth. All these is based on the right to truth. We need to know what happened, then we can think of the steps of reconciliation.
But presumably it is not just former members of the regime who will have to answer for potential crimes, but also the various armed groups. Can you explain to us, is there any similarity between Syria and Libya? In Libya, the reconciliation process and the laying down of weapons has proved to be extremely difficult because of the so many armed groups who know that if they lay down their weapons, they will be found guilty of the crimes that they have been committed, and they don't want to be held to account.
Accountability here is different on different levels. Again, what we can do as Syrians together is to decide what type of accountability we're looking for. First and foremost, we need to know the truth. Like from there on, perhaps the families themselves of the victims can come up and say, we are forgiving. We can move forward. We need a better future for Syria, so let's have this behind us. But before they know what happened in precise information and clear-cut information, this cannot be happening. Now, I understand that some armed groups might have these concerns, or that they might be also held accountable. My own interpretation, there should be accountability. Accountability cannot be picked and choose when it comes to transitional justice. However, dealing with these violators might differ on different levels. This is on one hand. On the second hand, what we need to do here is to make sure that whatever comes up of a transitional justice is ending with reconciliation, is ending with amendments, is ending with reparations. So to have this, everybody has to be part of it. Everybody should be involved. And I believe at a certain point what Libya did is gave a partial jurisdiction to the ICC to start investigating. Perhaps we can start here, where we know that there's an impartial international court that can take the lead to prosecute the main leaders of who have committed these crimes. However, when it comes to soldiers, when it comes to other members, these are all part of a national transitional justice process that might lead to what should not be scaring anybody. It should be actually the main guarantee to move into future in Syria that is not going to be tempered with any kind of threats, including not knowing exactly the fates and whereabouts of all these victims, what happened, realities on the ground, and then we can definitely go into reconciliation.
How concerned are you that a small spark may actually fully reignite the war in Syria?
It might be, but the belief now is in all Syrians. I don't see any Syrian who has any interest in igniting this. And this is the heartwarming type of truth that we're getting from the ground in Syria. People in cities are so eager to build the future of Syria. They know exactly the threats and challenges that they would be facing. However, everybody, I would say, and forgive me for that, but if this would have happened, it would have happened already. There are some groups who would have tempered with the security now, but seeing that the Syrian people are very much one and unified in order to move with Syria to the future, this is what is being as a guarantee and an assurance that we can move together forward. There's no need to temper with the situation.
Danny Al-Baaj, thank you so much for your time, sir. Really appreciate it.
I thank you.